Howdy folks, I've got an interesting one for you today. This is ABS plastic, and of course it's automotive style, and it's cracked, and we got a machine in that supposedly will stitch weld this back together so we can refinish and fix the crack. Yeah, that's part of it. Also, we have a welder in that's 140 amps, so it'll do that, plus it also produces 140 amps for like stick welding. Yeah, now, are you ready to see this? Yeah, that's the machine. Yeah, normally I would expect a welder that's like, you know, at least the size of a bread box these days. This is all about technology, I guess. This is a DC welder, by the way. It's like, again, you know, more shock. But Vevor sent this over, and it comes with a nice little manual that'll show you, help you to get through it, as to how to use this thing. And also, I have a nice 220 plug right here for it. And so you get the welder. You also get this really cool stitching kit for working and fixing like ABS plastic, that kind of thing, so you can stitch it back up, which we're gonna try that this afternoon. And we'll also get a pretty, you know, fairly inexpensive grounding clamp type system for the ground on the welder, and then we get the usual typical, you know, fairly inexpensive handle. This is more of, I'm going to call it consumer grade for like a do-it-yourselfer. If you don't need a big welder for, you know, big industrial job or commercial jobs or something around the shop like this might be the ticket. We'll provide a link in the description below where you can get probably a discount code and everything for this little guy. This is a cute little guy. But if you only need a stick welder for little jobs around the shop, something like this might be perfect. The first thing we got to do is we're going to stick it on a welding table over here, and I guess we'll run a bead. Now, that's the next key issue here. The size of your welding rod. I'm going to recommend like 3/32, 70/14, 70/18, something like that. Just a general purpose, all position welding rod. I brought in something a little heavier. You know me, max it out, right? This is 70/14 I've got in here, but it's 1/8. It's 1/8 rod. Picked this up just locally. And these are a little on the heavy side. They're going to take at least a good 90 to 100 amps to, you know, get a decent weld going, maybe even a little more. And I figured I may as well stretch the machine out right away and just see if it can do this, because when I saw the size of this thing come in, it was like, oh my God, no, huh? What? I was like, yeah, okay, I know the technology's getting pretty good on welders. I've seen some small ones in the stores these days, but this is the smallest thing I've seen to date. But we are going to do some welding with it, and we'll see. Now, first, number one thing is, I think this is, I believe it's 30%. So they're saying run for like 3 minutes, let it cool for 7. Yeah, so yeah, again, it's not going to do a great big long, if you're running an 18 feet of bead or something, this is not your welder. You'll need something a little bit bigger, heavier, whatever. But for around a small shop, especially do-it-yourselfers like me, this would probably be fine, you know, for just little stick jobs here and there. And I'm old school, so I do love a stick welder. Yes, I have a nice MIG and everything, and even a plasma cutter right now from Vevor, but the little stick welder should be, I don't know, we'll see, it should be good. Let's get over to the welding bench, get set up, and we'll do our first pass, and we're going to see how this thing works. Okay, so I've got a scrap piece of steel here, and I'm going to turn the machine on and try to run this stick across there. Just do a straight bead and see what we got, but again, I don't know. Have not used one of these before, this small, ever. Showing 140. We don't want 140, we want, oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna run 90 amp and just see if it is 90 amp, because, yeah. Holy crap, it actually welds. Okay. Get the chipper out, get the slag off, let's have a look at it. Wowee. Now, you leave that running. When it cools down, you'll hear it calm back down. As you saw, we just did a pretty good weld here. Just knock this slag off. And I got a little bit carried away, but actually it just ran a nice thick bead, so that's 1/8 rod. I didn't expect I'd even get that good with it. Wow. I'm getting impressed already, Vevor. Okay, I've just closed in a little bit more just so you can see it. I've chipped away some of the slag. Whew, man, the heat's still pouring off of it, but that's the very first pass and bead I've even made with this machine, and it just went in as smooth as, I mean, it was absolutely smooth, and I could feel the heat off the welder, which means it's welding, but I'm a little shocked. I can't believe that little machine can even do that, but yeah, it does. How many ways can you say, wow, that thing actually welded really good, really easy, smooth? I didn't see any issues at all. It just was smooth and straight like a DC welder would be, so I'm pretty impressed, but I still can't get over the size of that thing. That's small. The other job it can do, though, is repair ABS plastic, such as what we've got right here. This is the cowling part off of a Honda Goldwing. Yeah, and the guy donated it today for the this event. Yeah, and so we're gonna ruin it for him, so he needs to buy a new one, but that's okay. It is what it is, right? You know, but this way he can explain to his wife, oh, you know, this guy over here screwed it all up, and we'll have to buy a new one now. So we're going to try to stitch this together. There's a couple of ways to do this, and first thing I want to do is be able to hold it nice and tight like that, so that when I stitch this, it's held like that. And to get that crack to hold, I think probably one of the easiest ones is just some simple stupid glue or tack glue or something to glue it together, or even put some tape on the inside or something like that. But I think in this case, I would like to try something a little different and maybe do a hot glue gun on it, at least from the inside, and then with held together tight, then we can put our stitches in, because we're trying to, you know, close the wound, I guess we'll say. So let's get the hot glue gun out or something and see if we can do something. I've clamped it up on the side of my bench here. So here's the crack right here. Well, I've closed the crack basically. Using the clamps for pressure, I'm holding everything together nice and tight. And I'm thinking, yeah, what I can do is I could probably just run some hot glue or something across here to hold it, to get it to hold in place, and then we can come from the outside and actually put the staples in. I think we could put the staples in from the inside, but I could be wrong about that. This one piece of plastic keeps jumping up a little bit. They broke it right where there was a relief here on it, so it makes it just that much more difficult. But that's okay. We're going to put a clamps. Maybe we can get one across there. What I've done here is just put hot glue and then just sort of kind of smeared it with a little stick and just kind of pushed it around in and out of the area here. Now I'm just letting it cool down, because once the glue gets fairly hardened up, then hopefully it should hold at this point, so we can flip it over and run stitches through the front. I think that's what we're going to try to do. Anyways, let's see if this is even going to hold just yet. Looks like it's still not really holding that great, but it is holding, so yeah, okay. Okay, we're going to try to do one on the inside first and see if we can get this to hold. We've got our staple cable that comes with the Vevor machine, and also I've loaded one of the staples up, and then we have a little trip switch right here, and what we're going to do is actually heat this up, and then we're going to sink it down into the plastic once it gets nice and hot. I'm actually going to hold this in the position I want it in, and you can see it's going down in. Yep. Now I'm going to back off of it. I've let the switch go, and I'm going to pull that off, and let's see how that holds up. There we go. Yep. It just gives you an idea. Let me show you another staple here. We'll just load another one up. Okay, so we're going to start another one, and again, you just drop it and lose it. Yeah, there you go. So I've got another one here. Watch the heat, because this is going to get, you know, heat up. But you start this staple. You start the staple like that, and once I push the button, this is going to get hot, and then we're going to sink it See if I have enough cable here. I'm a little bit far away from the machine right now. And the machine is set on staple, so we'll turn her on. There you can get heat right away. And again, I'm going to go down through. And I'm going to push the staple into it a little bit until it's all melted in good. Then I'm going to take my finger off and pull. Now as that cools down, obviously the staple has now become part of, permanently part of it. And we're going to do another staple. Very different kind of technology, I know, but if you ever break a piece of ABS, glue and all these other, gobbledygook things will not help, but something like this will allow you to melt metal staples right into the ABS like this, and it's going in right now. There we go, looking good. Let go of the switch, slide back. There we go, we've got some staples. Yeah, did this backwards, and the reason was sort of like so you guys could see really good. And I'm gonna, hopefully that'll focus in there, and you can see what's happening. Normally this will be on the inside, okay, of your repair job for your car or whatever, so you wouldn't have all this hanging out. What you would have hanging out though is these little tabs from the staple, and you would just cut those off, grind a little bit, and then do a grind finish sort of thing to sand and finish up and feather and edge all this out. This is done backwards because I just wanted you guys to see what's happening. The metal staples are melted right into the ABS now, so they're sort of like help to bond and keep everything together. Because look at this thing is not going to break or come apart. I'll put some pressure on it for you. There, look at this. I'm pushing and pulling, and it's not going to come apart now because it's got these metal staples in there. But what cool technology is that? Wow. God, that thing is small. Anyway, but I hope you learned something today. How to staple ABS plastic back together. And that thing works really. That is a cool. I think the stapler is better than the welding's good too, but that stapler, that's a cool idea. And just think you can grind that down afterwards, fare it out a little bit, put some paint on it, whatever, and make your ABS broken plastic look like new again and held really strong. Got one question problem, and I don't know the answer to it. I don't know if those staples are stainless steel, so there's only one way to find out. We got to put them on a magnet. So if they're stainless, okay, they do stick to the magnet very, very weakly, so they're like an alloy metal with very little iron in them. Very scientific, test here. But so you better paint them because they will rust out of this, I guess, eventually. But once they're buried inside the plastic, they would probably be just fine. And I just think that's a cool item. Man, that's neat. Now, we've got something to give away. So when we come back, we got to talk about where this thing is going. We've got the Vevor buffer grinder, yeah, that machine. Let's find out who got that. I sort of think somebody's going to be surprised, I think. I don't know, because this guy didn't guess what this new feature change was to the programming until sometime Friday. Yeah, so that meant from Thursday on, there was a lot of guesses, but they were wrong. The feature, as I said, would show up in all the old videos. So if I, do something like change a baseball cap or a title, it's not going to show up in all the old videos. So a lot of people guess a lot of interesting things, and I kind of enjoyed looking at the ideas and the possibilities. Was like, yeah, that's a good guess, but no, that's not it. And what it was, and I'll tell you, let's get this poor guy off the edge. But what it was down below in our videos now is a thing called Super Thanks. And it's kind of like a tip jar thing where you can throw $2 in for a tip and send a special sticker or something over to the channel and say hi and whatever. I wasn't real clear on it for a very long time, so I didn't want to add it in there. And YouTube finally sent me an email and said you really should be, you really should have that in there. I was like, all right, we'll go ahead and throw it in there. Partly because I sort of agree with it, I sort of disagree with it, because there are some channels where I have actually given the $2 tip or $10 even or something for something that's really good that I'm going to use or need for myself. So it's like, yeah, you know what? He deserves something. Anyways, now that I've opened that can of worms, somebody in New Jersey probably knows he guessed right, you know. And in fact, he didn't get this until, I think it was Friday. I forgot to look at the timestamp, but it was on Friday, I think Friday afternoon or something. Fellow's name is Fred, and good old Fred over there in New Jersey. Hey, Fred, yes, you got it right, man. You're in Parlin, New Jersey, or Parlin. I wonder how they say that in New Jersey. Usually they just say, don't worry about it, you know, yeah. Your zip code is A08859, so that just helped to identify. But Fred, you're the only one in that town that won. So Fred, you're getting the Vevor buffer and grinder machine that has an extension wand for polishing and buffing and also grinding and stuff. It will be well wrapped in lots of bubble pack, and I guess we'll see if we can sneak that into a priority box for you or something, because the original box is no longer going to fit in there, thanks to me. Yeah, I'm a little hard on that stuff, so we'll get that packed up for you, Fred, and probably have that shipped out of here on Monday using the mail, especially because UPS might be going on strike right now. I don't really know, but Fred, thank you so much for guessing, and you got it right, man. It was the super thanks. That's what we were looking for. Yep. And if you look down at the bottom, you'll see the likes, the shares, and all that stuff, the subscribes, but you'll also see a little heart thing there with a dollar sign on it, I guess, and it's super thanks. You know, like I said, it's just something that we added recently in the last 2 weeks. So anyways, Fred, there she be. There it is. It's getting ready to get wrapped up and put in the box for you. And when you get her, make sure you nail it down so it doesn't, you know, vibrate around. But anyways, have a good time with that. The Vevor just seems to make some pretty interesting things. That thing is still, like I said, I'm still floored over that welder part. It's like a technology, man alive. I had some, in case this didn't weld, 1/8 rod, I did dig around my shop and I found some old 3/32 rod, some lighter duty stuff, and I thought, just in case, you know, we'll put this on standby to use just in case we can't weld with the heavy 1/8 rod. But shock, did the trick. I was like, wow. A couple of warnings about this. It does come with a weird plug, and I'm just going to show this to you because it's kind of a concern that I believe you should. It comes with like a 110 plug to an adapter to a big heavy duty 220 plug, and I'd highly recommend make sure you have a good outlet 220 at the house, the shop, whatever, for using this, because I don't really believe in this sort of thing. And it was a little upsetting when I did see it, but it was like, okay, that's so you can use 110 or 220, but you really should use something like this with a 220. It just lowers the current, which will lower any kind of heat damage or problems with any machine anyways. But that was just something that I was concerned about. The other thing that I sort of didn't like, I guess we've all bought welders, and you know, we've had these little clampy sticky things. I don't really like these. I like the good old, you know, screw it up tight. It gives you a good bite. Gives you about a good 30 to 45 degree angle, whatever, as you like to weld with your stick. These things here, put it in like this here, like this, for example. Look at, I mean, it's just, you know, it's kind of flimsy, you know. But some people think these are, look at this thing, you know. I don't care for it, but again, that's, you can, you know, I can live with that too, even though it's kind of, you know. And then the other one that I was not too crazy about, and it seems like, again, like it worked okay. This is not my favorite for a grounding clamp, but again, it does the trick, so I guess we can, again, we can live with it. Comes in, not a very expensive machine. I invite you again to check that link out, and when you see that price, you might be a little surprised because the machine is not very expensive. It's a very, very low price machine for what, you know, for what it can do. It's kind of amazing. Meanwhile, I'll also provide a link for this buffer grinder polisher machine. It's pretty neat. It has a wand extension off the side of it, so you can portably do specialized kind of buffing and get into things, or work on small wooden boats and things. Can't imagine where that thought would have come from. Anyways, I gotta definitely close out today, Thursday. It's about 112 or something in here right now. It's a hot one. High humidity, lots of heat, very little breeze, whatever. And southern Texas, yeah, she be a warm one today. But thank you so much for everybody for trying for the contest. You know, it was kind of I had my hopes on certain people, and Yeah, they tried, but they couldn't. They didn't get it. So yeah. And meantime, please like, share, subscribe, and ring the notice bell, and we will have more giveaways coming up and some nice, interesting new events and tools next week. So guys, have a great weekend, and we'll see you then. All right, over and out.